Hi, I'm Jason Brasier, and I am a filmmaker, documentarian, educator, writer, and experimental filmmaker. And I will be Leonard Kaplan's next guest on What Do You Want to Do?
Welcome to What Do You Want to Do, the show that will hopefully help you figure out what you want to do in life or reconnect you to what you love doing. Each show has a guest who is doing what they want to do, whether it's in their career or in addition to their regular job. Most importantly, we want to help you realize that no matter your age, you too can do what you want to do if you have the will to do it. Now here's your host, Leonard Kaplan.
Being a documentary lover, I've even come up with my own ideas for found footage films, but I'm trying to use the found footage and those ideas to push the story forward or to add a sense of realism to what's happening. Like, I've always thought that, okay, let's just make up one here. Take Red Dawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even the original Red Dawn. But if you took that concept and you had people at a birthday party, let's just do that, and they're recording their birthday party. In the background, you start seeing people landing with parachutes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what the heck's going on? And then suddenly chaos erupts. People are getting killed and shot. And this person is keeping the camera rolling because they're trying to figure out what's going on because they want to have evidence of whatever. To me, that concept could work. And believe it or not, there is a audience for that because even the Paranormal Activity movies did that really, really well. Are they the greatest stuff? No, but just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like a reality TV show, found footage films can be cheaper to make, and they can get more money back on the back end if they get it distributed. So there's that aspect of it. But I do feel that some people take advantage of it because they just want it to look cool and hip.
Yeah.
Michael Bay does that a lot in his films, but he'll just have the camera and running with people. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But now all these filmmakers that I'm trying to teach are like, well, I want to go handheld and do this. And I'm like, well, what's the purpose of it? They don't get that how you film it is just as important as to why you film it that way. Because if you're going to get a completely different feeling, is it add anything to your story? What's the deal?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think that it can be overdone and overused. I think that it has been because a lot of producers have said, oh, Paranormal Activity did really well. They made that for $7,000 and they got bought up for $14,000 and it had a huge series after that. So let's do that. But when they take that approach, it's not a creative approach. It is a business approach. And those are two completely different things. And I think just like the vampire genre and the zombie genre, like all these genres that kind of go in circles, oh, this is popular, so let's do it. And then I run it into the ground until something else comes up. Sure. And it's the same thing with film style, especially with the found footage stuff, because I've seen a couple of found footage films that are really good, really freaky. But there's also some that I'm just like, man, they're just really trying to cash in.
There was a film, I think it was the Blair Witch Project.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that was all done on a camcorder, I believe.
Yes, it was. That film, what was genius about the Blair Witch Project was not just the film itself, how they made it, but they put all of their money into the advertising. I remember, Leonard, I kid you not, I remember watching on television on Sci-Fi Channel these little documentaries about the curse of the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
They were making you think that the movie was real.
Yeah.
I walked out of the movie knowing that what I had watched was not real.
Sure.
I knew it. I was young and I knew that. But I was in awe of the creative marketing these guys did. And
Sure.
because of that movie, those guys all have jobs.
Yeah.
They spent very little on making the movie. They put all the money into advertising creatively and making you think the film was real, essentially. And it was brilliant. It was really
It
brilliant.
was.
And
I enjoyed it.
it's hard, it's definitely, I mean, it's kind of, it's not the first found footage film,
Mhm.
but it is the one within the last, gosh, when did that come out? 98,
Something
96,
like
98?
that. I think it put those things on the map a little bit, right?
It did, but there were some found footage films in this, and I think in the 80s and 70s.
Really?
I think, don't quote me on it, but I want to say there was a movie called Cannibal Holocaust that I think was also a found footage film.
Okay. I don't remember that one.
You don't want to watch it. I've never seen it myself, but it is. I've read about it when I've studied some of this stuff, and I just went, yeah, no, I'm not gonna watch that one because it just, whoo, there's certain things that I'm like, I like scary movies, but then
Yeah.
I'm not into gore porn, if that's what you want to call it.
Sure.
That's some people's bag, just not mine. It's all
Good work. I agree with you there too. Ozark Mountain Web Fest. Let's talk about that to end up our
Yeah.
interview. And how
Well-
did you start it? Why did you start it? And what's it about?
Well, it started just because we wanted to do something in this area unique, and online streaming was kind of the thing, and we started that. Last year and this year we're still online just because of, we're currently in a red zone for COVID, and so I don't want to put people at risk. But we still are getting a ton of entries from around the world. We're getting more entries from other countries than from people in Missouri,
Wow.
and which is really cool. And so we're still doing that right now, and I'm excited. We're excited about that, and we're using Binge Wave to do the festival, and I'm also using Binge Wave to do. Speaking of experimental film, I'm doing something called the Experimental Film Odyssey as well, which is an online festival essentially, but it's for all experimental film, video poetry, video art, whatever you, experimental film. And I've gotten a lot of entries from around the world that are just really cool entries, and people taking film down a different path. And I also have my first EFO talks event with Guy Madden, the guy I mentioned earlier, for his experimental films. And we're going to screen 9 of his films, and we're going to have an exclusive interview with him. And you can go on BingeWave and look under EFO Talks and get tickets, because $10 from every ticket is going to go to the Anthology Film Archives and the Filmmakers Co-op, which are basically help preserve and distribute classic and current experimental film, independent film works.
What would you want kids to remember, or anybody to remember who wants to pursue a creative film path?
Pick up a camera and just make something. It doesn't matter what you make, as long as you get something made and you learn from it and you keep trying again and making another film and another film, because all you can do is get better.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me here on What Do You Want to Do? And we'll hope to have you back sometime.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, man.